I'm like 99% sure
so,
I'm ADD.
While we're on the topic of gyms and stuff, let's use that to segue into Skyrim by talking about
Okay.
There's a mod for Skyrim to where it actually makes gyms useful by like...
Oh, is this the... Okay, you talk about it, because I already know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's cool looking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
You can, whenever you make jewelry and stuff like that, and you can put gems in there and stuff, and you can sell it for more expensive stuff. You can sell it for more because it has gems in it. But what this mod does is the more valuable those pieces of jewelry are, the higher the enchantment will be on them when you enchant them.
Oh. I was thinking of something different. I was thinking about the spider thing, where you put different gems in them and they just have different...
Oh, yeah, that too.
That's super awesome.
That's in the Dragonborn DLC. You know what that's like? That's a lot like Oddworld Stranger.
That's on PSN Network. I keep seeing that I could pay money for it, but I'm like...
Don't pay money for it.
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
He shoots creatures out of a crossbow and they have different abilities. And it's basically like that.
I like Oddworld, but I don't care about the new Oddworld stuff.
You take like the spider eggs.
I like Abe's Odyssey.
You take the spider eggs, and let's say you like take an amethyst and put that in with it, so you'll get like a poison spider and you can throw it at people.
That's awesome. Them. Yeah. Does it do anything cool? Like, does it like actually show an animation of them like latching onto their bodies?
I know them. Yeah, that like. It
depends. That's so good.
Like if you get a jumping spider, you throw it at the ground and it will jump at the enemy.
That's terrifying.
I know.
You gotta look up this DLC because it's not just like, oh, it's just a spider and it attacks.
And this is like
no, it's totally scary. It's sinister.
Is totally just like in a cave somewhere. You could totally miss this. It's not pointed out to you in a quest or anything. You could just completely miss this machine that makes this stuff. And
wait, so
the scariest one, in my opinion, is the mind control one. You get it by putting a black soul gem in with a spider egg. And, you know, you can get the jumping one or the one you throw directly at people. And what it does is it attaches to their neck.
Does it stay on there?
Yeah.
Do you just
fight the cave that I'm talking about?
How long does it last?
I don't know. But, like, the cave I'm talking about, you fight bandits that have those mind control spiders on their necks.
That's cool.
And they, like, they have, like, these yellow vein things going all around them. And it's super scary looking. And I didn't even notice the spiders on them until after a while, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so scary and creepy."
It's like the brain slug or whatever from Futurama.
Yeah.
This is what I'm hoping that they'll do eventually. So, everybody's wondering, where are the dwarves? You know, everybody wanted to know that.
What happened to the Dwemer?
Yeah. Apparently the dwarves, they just like either died out or vanished mysteriously. The only reason I don't know if I find it lazy or not, but at first I thought it was lazy because it's like there's literally no reason. They gave no reason where they went or why. They were just like, oh, we didn't put them in the game. But there's ruins everywhere. I don't care. I want to be told some history and lore. You don't just have an entire species disappear and then not species.
An entire Britney Spears disappear.
I did not say that.
You said Spears.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Whatever. You don't have an entire species just disappear and not
what's
give
sad?
Some history and like
They
where.
kind of did the same.
Give us a clue.
Okay, this is really sad. They did the same thing with the Falmer and the Akaviri.
Yeah, you told me about that.
3 species just essentially either get really messed up, like the Falmer, or they disappear. The Dwemer were the super powerful race of their day. Imagine basically the Empire, only more technologically advanced. Then there was the Falmer, which were basically like the High Elves of their day. Only they were albino High Elves, basically. They lived in Skyrim. There was a sickness going around, and I think it was a sickness, and the Falmer had to seek shelter with the dwarves, but they had like the dwarves like hated the Falmer, and the Falmer hated the dwarves, so it was like really awkward, and so the dwarves did this total cyberpunk America thing, where they're like, yeah, Because, in all the cyberpunk movies, they're like, yeah, you can do whatever. You can be a citizen if you take this brainwashing juice. Take this syringe where we brainwash you and
they
use
did
you
it
for
with
experiments.
berries. They did it with berries.
And that's totally what they did to the Falmer.
I don't remember what kind of berries it was.
That doesn't explain why the Falmer are blind and why they're all like hunchback midgets now. It doesn't explain that. In fact, the one Falmer I've talked to that exists in Skyrim, he's just like, I don't even know, and I've been alive for like thousands of years.
No, that's not even the question I was asking earlier. I was asking about those dudes that wear all like the Falmer clothing, and you kill them in like the story, and you're just like, this guy, it says I can search Falmer body.
Yeah, those are Falmer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But they're like, they didn't used to be called the Falmer. They used to be called like Snow Elves. They used to be called Snow Elves, and then they became the Falmer. But nobody knows how.
The Falmer.
Nobody knows how. Nobody knows why they suddenly became blind, because even the dwarven
They don't seem blind.
Even the dwarven brainwashing juice didn't do that. They are blind. That's part of the lore. But the snow elves...
Not in that game. They didn't show they were blind at all.
The snow elves were just... They were high elves, but they're like albino. And they even have high elf armor. They even have elven armor, but it's like... No, it's glass armor, I think.
It's like
white.
It's got crystals on it.
But it's white and it's super sick.
It's super sick, dog.
Yeah. But the dwarves... Okay, so here's the most we know about the dwarves. They were super technologically advanced.
Then they were just like, we Audi 5000.
No, but
not even.
They started worshipping the dark gods. And,
yeah, they got really into, like, they started, like, learning magic.
And that's when they started to get more and more corrupt, and they got messed up, and then they just disappeared. Here's my theory. I think they started worshipping Harmonious Mora because he's the Daedric prince of forbidden knowledge. And the dwarves were all about obtaining knowledge and getting all the super technology. So I think he was showing them ways to do that, and then he came to collect. And he collected the whole race.
Is that the same guy? Yeah, that's the same guy who gives you that mission in the game where he's like, yo, take this blood letter thing and go collect blood from every single species.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting because, like, the one species that's not on the list that he tells you to is the dwarves.
Now, if my theory is correct, I don't know what he did with them. Whether he took them into his plane of oblivion, which is called Apocrypha, and they just became the Seekers or something. Or if he just killed them all, or what. I don't know.
That would make a lot more sense than anything. You're like the only person who I've ever actually heard have a theory. Everybody's just like, I don't know, I don't care.
But it totally makes sense, though, because
yeah.
What were they really into? Forbidden knowledge. What's Harmonious Mora the god of? Forbidden knowledge.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
What's he known for doing? Backstabbing his servants.
Except, wait, does he backstab you in the game?
He's probably... It's so freaking vague about when you beat it. Because the whole Dragonborn DLC, spoiler alert, but the whole Dragonborn DLC is like, it tries to make you think that you can join Harmonious Mora as like his new servant, but it totally leaves it so open that you don't even really get a decision. You don't really decide to follow him or not. He just assumes that you do.
I think that's super funny. All of the different, like, Daedric princes and princesses and all the, like, evildoers in the game, they're like, alright, we get your soul when you die. Don't I owe, like, 13 different, like, gods my soul? You totally do.
You guys can go into a brawl over it.
Who'd win?
You know, if any of the Daedric princes got my soul, it's got to be one of the good ones. Like, probably that woman who likes to kill all the undead.
Is that that's not the lady who gives you that like Dawnfang looking sword, is it?
She's the one who gives you the sword with the giant sun in the middle.
Yeah,
of it.
the Dawnfang looking
that's
thing.
her. That's her.
She's cool, I guess. Yeah,
she's cool. Or Zura. She's cool too.
About Talos.
Talos isn't a Daedric prince. Sheogorath would be my last resort as a good Daedric god.
I don't know.
Because every, like, however many years, he turns into that one guy who just completely wipes out his whole plane of oblivion.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah. Even if Sheogorath is cool.
Yeah, even if I get a few kicks out of it, it's not worth it.
He turns into that guy who just kills everybody. So
you hate him, and then it takes about like a century or so to like you're like, all right, I forgive this guy. Give it another 8 centuries, then he does it again. You're like, thought we were past this, Sheo. And then he forgets who he is, and then you become him. And I was just thinking of the Shivering Isles.
Yeah.
Because you become Sheo Gorath at the end of Shivering Isles.
Yeah, but you only become Sheo Gorath in terms of title. You don't get his powers. You get his staff, and that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get his title...
Yeah, but you're not actually a prince. He even says that. He's like, you're like, so I'm a Daedric prince now? And he's like, well... He's like, yes! Well, no, not really. But you will be Sheo Gorath for a while. It's like the vice president when the president dies. It's like, so I got elected president? Yes! Well, no. They elected that guy, and he chose you as his replacement if he died. So you're kind of just like...
For a tiddly while, yeah. I don't know. I think that I like that. I just think it's cool that like you even get such a... That's such a reward, though. Even if you get like such a lame staff or whatever, it's cool.
Still
but I
can't
never
grow a
used
beard,
it.
though. You know what would have been the coolest reward? Getting a beard.
A beard like his, yeah.
Yeah.
Wearing his clothes.
When you wear his clothes, you just get a beard.
When you take it off, it comes off with it.
Yeah. But speaking of like all these princes you roll your soul to, it's just like dying in Tamriel must suck so bad because you are just rolling the dice on who gets your soul.
In real life, it's like you die, you either go to heaven or you go to hell. And there, it's like, oh man, this is so tiring.
And in real life, it's like it's like an actual choice too. But there, it's like, well, I guess I'll just appease this one god or prince to where they might come and get me when I die.
Thinking about dying in real life is scary. Thinking about dying in like Elder Scrolls is tiring. It's exhausting. You're like, oh man, this is I'm gonna have to sit in court for a really long time.
Scary? Not also could you end up in one of the planes of Oblivion or one of the planes where the 9 Divine take you or whatever, but you could also end up in the Soul Cairn, which is where everybody goes whenever they're put in a black soul gem.
Oh yeah.
And then they just stay there for eternity.
Dear
Lord. That sucks.
It's like a Pokeball. It's like a Pokeball that you can't get out of.
Except for Tell. There's more hells in Tamriel than...
Yeah. I mean, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man. I never want to die.
Have you heard the theory that the blood moon that shows up every now and then, that is a plane of Oblivion?
Really?
Yeah, have you not heard that theory?
No. I haven't heard too many theories in Oblivion.
The theories is that some of the planes of Oblivions aren't actually other dimensions. They're actually just, like...
Gates to the moon?
Yeah. Gates to, like, different planets and different moons and stuff.
That's really... cool.
So, like, the blood moon would be, like, all, like, the hellish lava oblivions.
Alright,
You know what's weird? The dwarves are elves. Not only that, but they're probably like the manliest elves ever. Because if you ever see their equipment always weighs like 20 more pounds than everything else.
Yeah, they're strong and they're big. People...
So imagine Nords, but
like,
stronger, and they're elves.
And maybe 2 feet smaller. Everybody thinks of like dwarves as like midgets. No, they're not. I'm 5'10". A real dwarf is like 5'3". Not really that short. They're not Nords, but they're like a foot smaller. They're literally just like Nords, but a foot smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and buffer.
They are probably the buffest.
That's what I wanted to be.
So whenever they go up to a wizard, the wizard's like, "Come on, I'll buff you." He's like, "Nah, got it."
I think the reason why they didn't put dwarves in this game is because we'd be like, where's our dwarves? They gotta have something to do in the next game, right? Right? They have to give us something to look forward to the next game. You can't just put it all on this game. You gotta give us some mystery.
The next game is Elder Scrolls Online, and I think they're gonna do that.
I don't mean that. No, I don't care.
I know you don't mean that, but they're gonna do that for a long time before they do another single-player Elder Scrolls game.
But
if they ever do one again.
But I mean, it's not like we're not gonna still wonder where the hell are the dwarves.
Yeah.
I thought about it a long time ago, and I was like, why don't they just make DLC that explores an underground city and like gives you like history and a little bit of like clues as to what happened to the dwarves?
Oh, but by the way, adding to the count, there are 4 races that are extinct. The
Dwarves,
the Aliens,
the aliens,
the elves from Cyrodiil. But they explain them because the Imperials wiped them out. So those are explained.
Is there any others?
The Akaviri, the Dwarves, Aliens, Falmer. I can't think of any more. There's probably other ones from other locations.
It's probably like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
We can't think of them right now, or we don't know them. I just kind of like had an epiphany today, and I was like, it's probably because they want to save some story for the next game, and that maybe, I mean, if you're right, and they won't release 6 for a really long time, all the more reason that that it'll be okay when we find out what happened to the dwarves. That's okay. Because, I mean, it's not like we're not going to always have that curiosity, like what happened to them. We have to have something to look forward to the next game. I think they kind of did that on purpose. I didn't, but now I do. I think they did that to keep us looking forward to the next game. They have to have some mystery, You can't just be like, oh, great, Dragonborn killed the World Eater, everything's happy now. Elder Scrolls Online. Because there's nothing to do now. But I think your theory, I've never heard that theory before, and I think that's got to be like the better one.
I made it up. So.
Well, yeah, it's a theory.
It's like I read it.
That's what a theory is. Oh, man. I don't know about you, but when I went into Dwemer Ruins, how often did you experience bugs, glitches?
I didn't.
Things that disappeared.
See, I was just kind of like fanfare for the whole game, so I don't know.
Every time I went into a Dwemer Ruin, it took me like 8 hours before I finally got out. Because they were so complex, and that's good. But I actually found out there's like 8 different ruins on the map that they didn't even patch yet. But they just have things disappear.
I remember there was this one.
And you need those things in order to beat the freaking thing.
I remember there's this one, this cave. It was like a cave where you went in one entrance and out the other. It was an ice cave. And it would just crash on the PC all the time. And the only way to get through it was, for some reason, if you played your game in windowed instead of full screen, you could go through it. It made no sense at all.
I remember there was... Alright.
It was game-breaking. Like, it was part of the main quest. You had to go through it, so that bug was completely game-breaking.
There was this mission where it told me I had to go through this Dwemer Ruin, and I went in there, and I literally spent days and days and days in this one room looking around, because it was... I read up online, and I was like, what am I supposed to do here? And it's like, oh, you just go up to the cog and pull the skull out of it, and then it should start turning again. I go up to the cog, and I'm like, what skull? There's no skull. I can't pull anything out. So the game's just broken now. I can't progress. You should never... I mean, I like the idea of using physics and using objects like that, in puzzles. But don't. Never a Bethesda. No. Yeah. That's bad for Bethesda. Because it's a Bethesda game. You can't do that.
Bugs everywhere.
Yes. You're never...
With Bethesda, like it's a rule for every game, but especially with Bethesda.
Especially.
The more things you add to a thing, it's like, yeah, it's cool, and it could be cool in theory, and if it works, it's cool, but the more things you add, you have more opportunity for failure, because if one of those things breaks, and you have like 100 things, then it breaks everything.
Yeah. It's like making a really, really, really complex math problem, and then
you mess up one symbol.
You put like
an
accidental decimal or something somewhere in it. It just destroys the whole, and you can't figure out what you did wrong.
Yeah.
It destroys the game almost.
Yeah. But since you mentioned a skull, have you noticed that in all the Elder Scrolls games, when you run across skeletons, they're always humans? There's never orcs.
Draugrs?
There's never orcs,
Oh, man.
There's never orcs or Khajiit or Argonians.
Yeah, same thing for like all of those games.
Yeah. There's a mod for Skyrim where it adds those, but...
Huh. I never even thought about that.
I never thought about it either until I saw the mod, and I was like, what?
Yeah. I was like, they have bones in their tails?
I never thought about that until I saw the mod, and I was like, why is that not a thing?
Yeah.
Probably because we didn't think about
especially
it.
Especially if it's like ruins all about like high elves and stuff, and you see human skeletons, you're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Why am I taller than this skeleton if this is the high elf?
Yeah. In Skyrim, skeletons were like the piddliest, weakest things. You breathe on them and they shatter.
Yeah.
It's like level 46. Run into a room full of skeletons.
And Draugrs.
And the Draugrs are the problem. The skeletons are just whatever.
Yeah, I remember you said you were playing with your friend. Your friend had like headphones on, and he was really, really immersed, and he's like going through a cave, and he hears like, "Arr." He's like, oh, Casey, what was that? What was that? You're like, you know what that is? It's a Draugr. It's the same thing it's always been. It's never been anything but a Draugr.
No, that was a companion that goes with you.
Oh, I thought you were saying
like it's in the Dragonborn DLC. You walk into a cave, and they're just like they start hearing like.
What was that?
What was that? I'm like, the same thing it was 1,000 dungeons ago. More
Not that
Draugr.
there's 1,000 dungeons, but yeah.
Draugr is so freaking boring. But speaking of Skyrim,
it's cool for like the first
this is like
8 times you see it, and then you're like, okay.
Everybody's heard this simile before, but I'm gonna use it again because it's so accurate.
I freaking wrote it down on the paper because I like it.
Oh my god! You really do.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that. I've never heard it before. Yeah, we talked about that in the last Lord of the Rings episode we played.
Skyrim is like an ocean with the depth of a puddle.
It's got the width of an ocean, but the depth of a puddle.
It's really beautiful, but there is nothing to it.
I asked my friend today, I was like, what do you like about Skyrim? And he was like, oh, I just do.
Yeah.
Alright, you don't know what you're talking about.
And
right?
just to give you some examples of how the depth sucks,
it's no zombies.
Number one, once again, this is used the most often. You join the Mages Guild, you eventually become the Archmage, and people still like, you're that new Mages Guild apprentice, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I showed you all those memes the other day.
But here's another one. This one I hate. This wasn't something I got from the internet, either. This is something that I actually, like, hated whenever I found it in the game. If you take part in the Civil War between the Empire and the Nords, or they're not the Nords, they're like the whatevers, Stormcloaks.
Oh yeah, okay.
I could never figure out which
one faction.
Join.
I never figured out which one is which because I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care about your Civil War.
Okay.
I'm a Dragonborn.
It doesn't matter which one you join because you have to go eventually do the same quest. But you get this one quest where it's like the quest for the Dragon Crown, because apparently if you have the Dragon Crown, because all the ancient High Kings of Skyrim had it, and so if you have it, people are going to think you're a boss and elect you as High King. And so the Imperials want it and the Stormcloaks want it for obvious reasons, but then it's like, you get it and you're like, screw you, I want it.
Can't have it, no.
But no, it's not an option. You have to give it to one of them. In fact, that's like a turning point in the war to where like you can, if you don't like one of them, you can actually like turn coat and go to the other side.
But doesn't that also not make sense? Because you told me, and I didn't even know this, but you told me that the Dragonborn is worship. I already knew Dragonborn's worship, but so much that in order to be emperor, you had to be Dragonborn, right?
In order to be technically the rightful emperor, you have to be a Dragonborn, which is why they needed Martin in Oblivion so bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't really. They like to make it seem
and that's why he became a dragon at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You don't become a dragon at all.
That's because there's no more Amulet of Kings.
Oh. That's not true. Skyrim 2. Wait,
that's,
no,
that's
this
1,000 years in the
oh,
past.
yeah, okay, whatever. I still call it Skyrim 2. Whatever. Could you imagine 1,000 just dragons everywhere?
So it's like you get it, and you're like, "This is my chance. I can finally gain some power and claim the throne."
Casey, I now know where all the dragons came from. That makes sense because if everybody's playing Elder Scrolls MMO and everybody has an Amulet of Kings. Everybody becomes the Dragonborn, and that's where there's thousands of the freaking dragons in Skyrim 1. That's where they came from.
I don't know.
They came from the Shivering Isles.
I don't know if there's dragons in Elder Scrolls Online. I'd be surprised there wasn't, because how could you have an MMO without dragons?
Especially when it's like in Skyrim.
Well, Skyrim's just one of the areas in it. You play in all of Tamriel.
I'm sure there'll be one dragon. I'm sure it'll be a big boss, like, later on. It'll be one area, but they can't have dragons everywhere.
Watch them make Alduin look like a super boss. Like, you can't kill him because of the canon, you can't.
Yeah.
So they make him look super hardcore. But he's not.
No.
But, anyway.
He's really hard at first, and then you find out, oh, that's just because the game glitched.
Yeah.
I have to go down the freaking mountain and come back up.
He's just like every other dragon. But,
except he can talk.
He can talk, he can sing! All the other dragons can talk too. They just can't all speak English.
Some speak Spanish.
No, they all speak dragon speaking.
Dragon speak.
Yeah.
Dragon speak.
It just kind of sucked because you never really made an impact on the world. Like, the biggest impact you could make was the Civil War and deciding whether or not the Empire ruled Skyrim or the Stormcloaks did. Which either way...
And that's so far gone in the game that you're like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm never going to see this. I
don't like either side.
Yeah.
I'd rather just have me. It's just like in Fallout New Vegas. Why would I choose any of these people when I
would love to just not do any of this. Can I just forget the
it's like the Imperials.
I will kill them all. I'm Dragonborn.
It's like the Imperials are being gay and being like, no, you can't worship Talos. And then the Stormcloaks are just being racist.
Let me tell you about Talos.
And then the Stormcloaks are being racist, so I don't like them either. And it's just like, I want to be king. Screw both of you. I can take on 2 armies.
And I'm Dragonborn, so it would make sense.
I can literally take on 2 armies. I mean, that's how powerful you are in the game.
Well, that's how powerful the lore is.
I don't like the Fighters Guild and Mages Guild didn't exist anymore. Like, they had the College of Winterhold and the Companions, and those were the replacements for the Fighters Guild and Mages Guild.
I like the Companions. I thought the Companions was a really, really good Fighters Guild. They didn't call it Fighters Guild, and it would have been kind of silly if they did. They just gave it a different name. And they gave it, cool things.
It's like, I liked being called a Bloodletter and a Champion.
They give you different names. They give you, like...
You're now a Shield Brother.
Whatever. It's still cool.
It's not cool.
It's kind of... Whatever.
It's cool, but it's not as cool as, like, ranking up in Fighters Guild.
And
then College of Winterhold was just... It was just straight up, like, at least the Companions were, like, a little bit different than the Fighters Guild. No, College of Winterhold was just literally a different name.
Yeah, and like...
You even... The end thing was even Archmage. Guildmaster, you know, is...
You get cool clothes, but that's about it. You look like a giant owl flying around the city. Walking around the city, really. Yeah, you look like a giant owl.
Oh, man. And this is something else I hated about the... I loved the College of Winterhold for the most part. Like the whole giant floating orb thing was awesome. But it's something I hated. They mentioned an island appearing near the Somerset Isles, where like all this super hype magic stuff was happening now. Because it just like appeared out of nowhere, like teleported in or something. And there's like all these secret elf wizards that have been there for thousands of years, and they're awesome. Guess what? You don't get to go there.
But in the next game, Casey.
That's so lame.